One player each Premier League club should sell. Who are we starting with?
We're starting with 10,000 likes, and please subscribe.
About 60% that watch this don't, so you're all mugs. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. I want 5 figures. Arsenal.
Wow, I've got to go for Nicolas Pepe, Theo. 72 million quid he cost. He's not a regular starter. He's just not good enough for Arsenal. The thing about this lad, Theo, he's got 2 years left on his contract. You might get 20 million quid for him. Sell him.
Yeah, it was a failure that they paid up to 80 million, even if it wasn't installments. It was a massive failure, and especially with the new signings of Gabriel Jesus, who I know they want to play him in the 9 role, but he can play on the wing. He did a lot of that for City. I think Pepe's position is nowhere near the first team anymore, so I agree with you on the first pick.
Aston Villa, I'm going for Morgan Sanson, Theo, a former French international at youth level, but he's just not performing. He's just not getting into the 11, is he, Theo?
Yep.
And he's got a contract for the next 3 years, so what are you going to do? Sit on the bench for 3 years?
I'm picking Keenan Davis, on loan at Forest last year, had a decent record for them. I just don't think he's good enough to start for Aston Villa, and the project and the direction they're going, I don't see him there in the future.
But he's a younger lad, Theo. Don't give him time.
I think if he was world class, you'd give him time. But Villa, the way they're going under Gerrard, they're going for big money signings, and I can't see him breaking through the first team.
Bournemouth now, and it's got to be Junior Stanislas, Theo. Now, he's had a really good career for Bournemouth, a contribution every 3 games, I think, over the last 8 years. But he's 32 years old, and I don't think he's going to see a lot of game time. I think it's time to move down a division or 2. Come to Bolton Wanderers, mate.
Yeah, similar reason for me. I'm picking Robbie Brady. He's a winger, 30 years old. I know he's got experience in the Premier League, but he could barely do it in the Championship, couldn't even break into the first team there. Now, he's still under contract. If they get a chance to sell him, do it. If not, whatever.
Brentford now, and it's Halil Dervisoglu, Theo, who you might have seen in a Galatasaray shirt last season. He was there on loan. He didn't do that much. I think he got 4 goals. Turkish international. He's quite good with a Turkish shirt in. He gets a goal every second game. But he's just not working out at Brentford, and the fans are saying he doesn't fit the Gaffer's system.
Interesting. I've gone for Charlie Good. I think he's about 26 now, playing centre-back. Still hasn't broken into the team. He's not good enough for them. They keep sticking him out on loan. You might as well sell him.
Brighton and Hove Albion. I've gone for a Republic of Ireland international. You know who it is. It's Aaron Connolly, Theo.
Yep.
On loan at Middlesbrough. Didn't set the world alight. I think he got 2 goals in his half season there. And apparently he's a bit disruptive. He's a bit of a naughty boy. He's caused a bit of embarrassment at times. Only 22 years old, but it's not working.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Not good enough for Brighton.
Chelsea now, I've gone with a 28-year-old central midfielder. He's played loads and loads of times for England, but he's not quite good enough for Chelsea. You know, I'm talking about Ross Barkley. Now, I'm a fan of Ross Barkley, Theo. He's been at Chelsea 4 years, but later in life, when he looks at that, he'll be thinking, why didn't I go elsewhere and get regular game time? I think he's Premier League standard, but not Chelsea standard.
It's a shame because you see a real player in Barkley, but he's so inconsistent. He doesn't always want to show it. I don't know if he's got a proper motivation. And that goes for the same boy that I've picked, Romelu Lukaku. He's on the verge of going to Inter. It's not been confirmed yet, but I've just pointed him out to give myself an opportunity to say, what a silly boy. You get that opportunity to prove to Chelsea what went wrong when they sold him, and you waste your time, you don't take your opportunities, and then you go beg for an Inter move. There's not a Chelsea fan out there that respects him, and that's the right decision.
Theo, he's been a very silly lad, but given the price tag, which I believe was about 100 million, do you not give him another chance? Because we know there's a good player in there.
You
He's
said
proven that time and time again.
That maybe next season he'll shine. Don't waste your time. Go check it out with another player that actually wants to play for the Blues.
Of course, we don't see him in training. He's got to earn his place in the 11. I just get a feeling if he stays at Chelsea, he can get 6 goals in the first 8 games and prove himself.
I don't see it. I can imagine him going to Inter and scoring goals, though, just because he actually wants to play there.
Bristol Palace, Luka Milivojevic. I've got to keep my voice down because we're virtually in Serbia here. He's a Serbian international. A couple of years ago, Theo, he was smashing it, wasn't he? But his impact has gone down, and Palace fans agree with me here. Time to go.
Yeah, with the new team, new signings, new manager, it's just never clicked with him. And it's unfortunate, like you said, because he was once a great player. But he's lost his passion for Palace, so I agree. Sell him.
Everton now, and it's with no pleasure that I say Dele Alli, because between the ages of 22 and 26, he's not performed for anyone there, not for Spurs, not for Everton. Now, he needs to rebuild his career and his life.
I wouldn't say sell it.
Or maybe he's lost the passion. I don't know, but it's not working in the Premier League. He needs to drop a few divisions or go somewhere else.
Abroad is an option, but I think give him more of a chance, Dad. He only got there halfway through last year. I think it's worth giving him next season under Lampard. I've gone for Ellis Sims. He's a player who isn't good enough for the club, and I think they should sell him. But people told me to pick Richarlison for this Everton pick.
What?
Because you could cash in on him and reinvest in the whole squad. And if the Toffees want to survive and take it to the next level with their new stadium, investing in the youth is actually a very good option. So maybe that's a decision, but I've gone with Ellis Sims.
Fulham, Theo, I've gone for Anthony Knockaert, who cost 11 million quid from Brighton and Hove Albion. The truth is, he doesn't really perform that well in the Premier League. He's a championship player.
He is, and he's past it now. If Fulham want to survive, he ain't going to do it. And I've gone for Anthony Robinson, the 24-year-old left-back.
The ex-Bolton lad.
And the reason I've picked him is because he went to Wigan. He went from Bolton to Wigan.
He did. You don't do
That's
that.
when I lost my respect, so I want him to be sold.
Oh,
sorry.
Come on, Theo. That is not objective. He's a good player. We know he's a good player.
I know he's a good player, but he went to Wigan.
Leeds United, and I've gone for Rodrigo, Theo, who cost 27 million quid 2 years ago from Valencia. And the thing is about him, for Valencia, for Benfica, Theo, he got a contribution every 2 games. In those leagues, he smashed it.
He clearly
In the Premier League, Theo, he doesn't smash it. Now at Bolton, 21 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. This age, I'm sorry, he's not going to do much over the next 2 years. Sell him, get some funds
He's
back.
not good enough. I think the players like Brendan Aronson are coming in to help the creativity, and maybe when that is an option, he'll improve next season, who knows. But for Leeds, I'm going Rafinha. And here's my reasoning, Leeds fans. You're probably all screaming at your TVs and clipping me up. I don't think if he stays at Leeds United next season that he will care. I reckon it will be a half-hearted Rafinha because he's had interest from every big club around the world. He will leave eventually. I just think it will be one of those years where he's not fully motivated to play for the badge. And you should give the opportunity to someone like Joe Geldhart regularly on the wing who wants to play for you and prove a point.
Theo, I totally disagree. I mean, that is guesswork about the character of Rafinha. You're just assuming he won't perform next season. If you sell Calvin Phillips and if you sell Rafinha, Leeds United will be in the Championship like that. Click of the fingers.
No, they won't.
Yes,
Depends
they will.
How they reinvest their sum.
That doesn't work
Dad,
like
they're
that,
both
Theo.
probably going to go. So you're saying Leeds are going to get relegated.
Yes.
You say when we do Prem predictions, you're relegated.
If those two go,
Even
before
with
we
the new
do Prem predictions, Leeds will get relegated, full stop.
You're wrong. You are wrong, Thogden. If he goes and they spend it correctly on players that I think can play at a Premier League level, Leeds will be fine.
And that is a very big if. Leicester City, it's got to be Hamza Chowdhury, a 24-year-old central midfield. Now, he's a good player, Theo, linked with Middlesbrough. He's just not getting the game time.
Yeah.
And a 24-year-old lad should be playing football every week.
No, I feel that. I've gone for Yuri Tielemans because as much as he's one of their best players, he doesn't care anymore. He wants to go, so cash in, reinvest.
Liverpool, and this lad cost 34 million quid from Arsenal 5 years ago. He's a recognised England international, but I'm sorry, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, it's just not worked out at Liverpool. Now, I know he had a bad injury back in the day, but the expectation, Theo, was not for him to be a bench warmer. It was for him to be a really important Liverpool player.
Liverpool, for me, I've gone with Bobby Firmino, and you may question my decision. He's quite an important player in the first team, but I think a player of his calibre should be playing every week somewhere else.
You would sell Firmino before the Ox?
Yes, well, I don't know before. I'm talking about more serious points.
Yeah.
Firmino has had a considerable less amount of game time over the last year. And I think he'll be looking at his agent going, look, I want to play more football. I know this Liverpool career has been incredible, but it might be time to move on, just to relight the fire of his final step of his career. We'll see.
Theo, it depends if he wants to be a big fish in a small pond, because if he goes to a lesser European club, he'll be sensational.
Exactly.
But at Liverpool, he's an important part of one of the best teams in the world.
What's he done in the last few months?
Over the last few years, he's been
years,
wonderful.
but months. I'm talking the last
I'm not looking at months, I'm looking at years, and
It's
he has
all-
been sensational.
With Nunes coming in as well, it's going to be tough for him. I think sell him. Let me know, Liverpool fans.
Manchester City, I've gone with Zach Steffen, the USA international goalkeeper, and the reason is I was at the FA Cup final when he made those errors. He is miles away from first choice goalkeeper.
For City, I've gone for James McAtee. I also mentioned him to be the standout player over the next few years, and I think he'll get that if he secures that move to Leeds United, because regular Premier League football is what a youngster needs.
Theo, is he not going to make it at Man City?
No, they won't give him enough game time. They'll probably play Cole Palmer, a few other youth players, but I think James McAtee Smashed it in Premier League too, but spending way too much time there now. He needs to get in another team like Brighton or Leeds. Secure the deal, mate, if you're watching this.
Manchester United now, and I've gone for another former England international. It is, of course, the centre-back Phil Jones. And by the way, I'm not taking the mickey here, Theo. He's been a great servant over 11 years, and the little bit we saw of him last season, he still cares. He still wants to play football. He's 30 years old. He's got another 6 to 8 years in the game if he drops a couple of levels.
Yeah,
and again, that's what I'd do. That's what if I was his mate, that's what I'd tell him to do.
I think the player they need to sell is Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is holding Manchester United back. He's taking the club in the wrong direction. They all speak about him like a god. But if he was a real one-player club player, saving them, they wouldn't be in Europa League. Eden Hazard, when he was at Chelsea, ran that club. They never had issues. They won the Europa League. And they stepped up and they got to the next level as a football club. With Ronaldo, you are not getting that anymore. He's too old. Maybe at one stage, not anymore. Get him out and focus on the youth.
Theo, he was pretty much the player of the season. Why are you getting rid of your best player?
I'm not. I'm joking. My real Manchester United pick is Wan-Bissaka. I think he's finito. He can't attack. He's very good at defending, and unless they change their system to a back three where he's played in a three-back, and then they purchase a right wing-back who's excellent at going forward, or I don't know, play Sancho there, but will he want to defend? Will he have the guts for it? Who knows? Newcastle
United have gone for a 32-year-old centre-forward called Dwight Gale. A decent servant in his day, Theo.
Yeah.
But he was much better in the Championship.
He never does in the Prem.
And now that he's older, drop down a level and score some goals.
Yeah, it definitely needs to go. I've gone for Chris Wood, because I think they're wasting their time with strikers like that. Newcastle United deserve better. They've had forwards in the past that bag them goals for fun. Chris Wood is not that. Probably go to a lower Prem team or step down further, because Newcastle are trying to step up and get that 7th place to get, is it Conference League? Depending on the cups, I don't know how it works this year. He's not going to do it for you. He won't score enough goals. He didn't last year. Focus on the transfers. Callum Wilson back to full fitness. Chris Wood's not good enough.
Nottingham Forest, it's Harry Arter, who cost £5 million from Bournemouth. And I think this season, Theo, he's playing in the non-league on loan for Notts County.
Yeah.
Time to go.
Time to go, I agree.
It's time to get rid of Theo.
Me?
Theo Walcott for Southampton. What do you think I meant, Theo?
Sure.
Now, at 33 years old, he's been a great servant for clubs and countries, especially Arsenal in his time. But really, he doesn't really fit into the Southampton setup. Time for the MLS.
Yeah, I've gone Dinepo. I know he's 24, but I think Southampton, if they want to survive, he didn't prove to me enough last season that he was good enough to play regularly and, save them as a football club. Keeping Ward-Prowse is the key anyway.
Tottenham Hotspur, and this man is linked with Sevilla and Everton, and I believe he should probably go Harry Winks.
Yep.
Now, a good prospect in his day. I just don't think he's kept up, Theo.
Yeah, he needs a new sort of motivation. The last 5 years have been downfall for him, and it's really unfortunate because at one stage he had really good games. He went against Barcelona where he just ran that midfield.
Yes.
So maybe Everton can bring the best out of him and move abroad. I agree in Harry Winks.
West Ham United, it's Arthur Masuaku, Theo. He came 6 years ago from Olympiacos. Yep. And I don't know, he's just not quite good enough for the club. This is the fans' choice, by the way.
Yeah, fair enough. For West Ham, I picked Alex Kraut. I just don't think it's worked. I expected a lot more when he signed. And when he played against Kidderminster Harriers, he got dominated by their midfielders, so it might be time for him to leave.
Wolverhampton Wanderers, I've gone with a centre forward. 54 games in the Prem, 4 goals, 3 assists. It ain't good enough. I think this season, 22 games, no goals, no assists. Now, I know he's 19 years old. Fabio Silva, you're just not good enough.
Thogdad, you're going to get roasted by Wolves fans. Fabio Silva has a future at the club.
He doesn't.
I back him. Next season, you don't know what's going to hit you. He's smashing them in for the Portugal Academy team.
Theo, if he scores 10 goals next season in the Premier League, I'm putting on the pink dress, I'm going to run through the centre of Wolverhampton. Right. Although I promised that about Newcastle, so it probably won't happen.
Well, you've been clipped anyway. For my pick, it's Kijana Hoover, and I think he's about to go to PSV anyway, but whenever he's played for Wolves, he's not shined, not impressed, so he's on the way out, so it looks like I'm correct with my pick. But thank you for watching this video. That's one player every Premier League club needs to sell. We probably look like a mug. We don't know everything, even though my football knowledge is incredible and he's a right mug.
Right, I'm going for a swim and a beer. See you all later.
15,000 likes or I'm quitting YouTube at 1 million subs. Bye-bye.